So, good evening, everybody. Great to be with you. I think I am live and I hope you can all hear me. Okay, this class is the one where we're going to do more of these sentence transformations. Yeah? Um, okay, so there's an example here. So, great to have you, Maria. Great to have you, Manisco. Great to see you, Vibes, and Patricia, and Katia, and Vitali, and I don't know if Freddie Mercury's still in here. Okay, so I think it's going to be time for us to get going. I'm sure we're going to have lots more people. It says we've got 8 people at the moment, but I'm sure that's going to rise quite rapidly. I think the transformations I've got today are easier than the ones I did last week. So, good evening, Aditi. Great to have you. And Artsy. Great to have you as well, Artsy. And Mohammed. Great to have you as well. Okay, so the first one is quite an easy conditional. It says you're going to pass your exams because you have been studying hard. And then you need to include the word wouldn't and various other words in the gap. Hi, Julia Richmond, great to have you. And Manny, great to have you as well. And Dr. Cannon as well, lovely. Duck Pond, good morning to you. That means you're probably somewhere like California or somewhere like that, because here it's 5 in the evening or 4 in the evening in the UK. Yeah, I would guess you're probably somewhere way over the Atlantic on the other side. So, and Jerry, great to have you as well. Okay, so this says you're going to pass your exams because you have been studying hard. So, if you and then. Okay, so we've got to start from Vibes and Pavla as well. Great to have you. And hi to Christiane in Belgium as well. Okay. This is quite interesting. Okay, so we've got various different answers. No, so look at this. Notice you are going to pass your exams, future, because you have been studying hard in the past. Okay, this says I'm certain that this is going to happen. Yeah? Yeah, I am predicting this with a great deal of certainty. Okay, so this is very interesting indeed. Okay, so we've got an answer from Artsy as well. So let's see. Let me read some answers. Vibe starts with if you hadn't been studying, and then he doesn't do the rest. Pavla says if you hadn't studied hard, you wouldn't pass your exams. So, the tenses are not quite right here, Pavla. Firstly, notice, been studying, yeah, is a continuous tense. And you wouldn't pass is, I would say this is habitual. So, let's see, Artsy, if you hadn't studied hard, you wouldn't pass it. Okay, so I've still got a problem here with that wouldn't pass it because it's a future one. Vitali says if you'd been studying hard, you wouldn't have difficulty passing your exams. Okay, Patricia, so I've still got this. None of you have still got this going to bit. It's not as hard as it looks. Let's see. If you hadn't been studying hard, you wouldn't have difficulty in passing your exams. But this predicts that you're going to have difficulty, Vitali. Patricia says if you hadn't studied hard, Okay, I want a continuous. You wouldn't have been able to pass your exams. That says you did pass your exams, and you still haven't passed them. Aditi. If you hadn't studied hard, you wouldn't have passed your exams. Again, you've got, okay, firstly, Aditi, if you hadn't studied, I want a continuous. And second bit, you wouldn't have passed. This says you did pass your exams. So, Makoboya, great to have you. Manny says, if you hadn't studied hard, you wouldn't have passed your exams. Ooh, what does Valentine say? Look at what Valentine's written. Wouldn't be going. Wouldn't be going. That's what I'm looking for. So, original says, if you hadn't studied hard, you wouldn't have passed your exams. You see, you wouldn't have passed your exams says you did pass them. If you have not been studying hard, you will not pass your exams. So look at what Valentine has written here. What Valentine's written here is the key to this, is the difficult bit in this one. So I think I'm going to write the answer. So if you hadn't been studying hard, comma, you wouldn't be going to pass your exams. Jerry, if you had not been studying hard, you would not been able to pass your exams. You need the wouldn't. That is the wouldn't. So look here. If you hadn't been studying hard, but you have been studying hard, reality, in the past, you wouldn't be going to pass your exams. Okay. The other part of our conditional, in the future. This is a mixed conditional. It's a mixed a mixture of hypothetical past and hypothetical future. Okay, Prodo, if you wouldn't have studied, you wouldn't have your past exams. Sorry, Prodo. So, if you hadn't been studying hard, you wouldn't be going to pass your exams. So, past condition, future result. Okay? Okay, past condition, future result. Yes, 3-2. Okay, Manny, I like that. Third plus second. Yep. Okay. So, Aditi, you're going to pass your exams. I'm certain you're going to pass your exams because you have been studying hard. So, if you hadn't been studying hard, hypothetical, but it's not true, yeah, you have been studying hard for the past up to now, you wouldn't be going to pass your exams. It sounds okay. It certainly sounds okay, Patricia. Yeah? Your brain's going to explode. Hard conditionals. If you can do conditionals, it will make speaking an awful lot easier. You need to be able to do the conditionals like you need to be able to do your times tables in mathematics. Yeah, 2 2s are 4, 3 2s are 6, 4 2s are 8, 5 2s are 10. Yeah, you need to be able to do this in the same way. Okay, so let's try another one. At school, I never did my homework. Would. When my homework. Okay, this one is a zero conditional. This is a zero conditional. It's a zero conditional in the past. I'm even going to write it here. Zero conditional in the past. So something that was okay. Okay, this one seems to be easier for you. Okay. So this is very good. This one you seem to know quite well. Okay, also what I find interesting with this one is here I think would is acting as a modal verb. Yeah, because I could also put used to with this. Wow, thank you, Jerry. That's really, really kind of you. Thank you so much, Jerry. Okay, so let's see. Vibe says, when I was at school, I would never do. Maria says, when I was at school, I would never do. Good. Vitali says, when I was at school, I would never do. Would is the key here. When I was at school, I would never do, from Valentine. Thank you again, Jerry. When I was at school, I wouldn't do, from Malak. When I was at school, I never used to do my homework. And that's good, Artsy, because this would is replacing used to. That's habitual action in the past for would, yeah, and would is acting as a modal verb talking about past habit. Aditi, when I was at school I would never do my homework. Good. Maria, when I was at school I would never do. Good, Maria. Good evening, Malak. Repeated action in the past. That's the idea, Pavla. Thank you again, Jerry. Wow. When I was at school I would never do, from Manny. And Hadi, great to have you. When I was, this time it's got to be was, because this is a real conditional, yeah, Hadi. But when I was at school, I would never do. Yeah. When I was at school, that's perfectly good as well, Patricia. I wouldn't usually do. So when I was at school, I would never do my homework. So here would is, this is equal to used to, yeah, and okay, I wouldn't usually do, that works as well, Artsy. Okay, well done all of you. That was a great one. Okay, the next one I think you're going to find easier. So notice this is a past condition, something that always happened in the past, and the result was always the same in the past. Okay, she forgot her lunch. No problem, Jerry. Thank you so much for the donation as well. Never did. Yes, never did would also be okay. Or I would never do. I wouldn't ever do. I never did, or I wouldn't ever do. Is would used in zero conditional? I never did it in the past. Yes, exactly, Vibes. This is the point. Let's see. When I was in my last job, I would spend all day staring at a computer. Thank you, Jerry. So that's the idea. Okay. So, Macabuya says couldn't. Okay. Next one. I waited for an hour and then I went home. After. Only. Home. So, ooh, good. So let's see. Okay, this is interesting. This is interesting. Okay, so this is okay, so let me read the answers. Vitali says only after had I. Only after I had waited for an hour did I go home. Valentine says only after waiting for an hour I went home. You've missed something key here, Valentine. Maria Salve, only after waiting for an hour I went home. Again, you've missed the same thing, Maria Salve. Okay, Vibes, after I had waited for an hour, only after I had waited for an hour did I go home. Well done, Vibes. That is correct. Manny says only after I waited for an hour I went home. You're still missing the inversion in the second part. Only after an hour had gone by, I went home. You've got a problem, the same problem. The problem with the inversion here, Artsy. Maria says, only after waiting for an hour did I go home. So Vitali got that did, Vibes got that did, and Maria's now got that did. Okay, hi Funda. So notice phrases that start only after, only by, only when, only if. These have an inversion in the second part of the sentence. Only after an hour I went home. So you're missing the inversion, Rashid. Only after waiting for an hour did I go home. That's the idea, Hadi. Just only after 1 hour I went home. By putting the just at the beginning, which you're not allowed to do, Funda, you then don't need the inversion. So only after waiting an hour did I go home. So Aditi, only after I waited for an hour did I go home. That's it. That is the idea, Aditi. So if these phrases start our sentence, they've got to be at the beginning. It's got to be at the beginning of the oration. When that starts what you're saying, then you need to invert, make a question form of the second part of the sentence. Only after I had gone home. Yes, it could. Yes, definitely. Oh, wait a second. No. Had I gone home? Only after waiting for an hour had I gone home. No, I think it needs to be a did. Whoops, there's a mistake here. Okay, so it needs to have the did because this is a went. Patricia, only after having waited, that would do fine, an hour, did I go home. Only after he turned the corner did she close the door. Perfect, Hadi. That's a great example of this only after. Only after having waited. I think only after waiting is probably neater, but yours is not wrong. You were missing the inversion. I went. Yes, Manny. Did I go? Okay. I like the next one as well. Okay, next one. Same sort of idea. Yes, so that only after. Only if you understand this will you be able to give the right answer. Only by concentrating did I get the answer correct. It's okay. It's not wrong, Patricia. It's not terribly elegant. That's the only difference. Okay, so the lock only opens if you twist and push at the same time. So you need to twist and push the door at the same time. Unless, not the lock open. So I remember someone a long time ago, well, it was a foreign teacher, telling me, I always learnt that you can't use not unless, but you certainly can. Not unless confuses things, in my opinion. So let's see what we get for this one. So the lock only opens if you twist and push at the same time. Not the lock open. You will not open the lock unless you push and twist. Okay, that certainly works, Vitali. Yeah. Too many opens, Vitali. So, Manny says unless you twist and push the lock, it would not open. There. Okay. So nearly. And let's see what Vibe says. Okay. So wait a second. Okay. Vibe says not unless you twist and push at the same time does the lock open. AZ, not unless you twist and push at the same time does the lock open. Okay, we're starting to get some good answers now. Okay, so notice here, not unless also takes an inversion. It's Marianne. Sorry. Not unless you twist and push it at the same time does the lock open. Good. Well done, Marianne. Not unless you twist and push the lock does it open, Manny. Okay, so again, not unless you twist and push at the same time does the lock open. Not unless you twist and push at the same time does the lock open. Well done, Funda. Okay, this one has baffled you. Good. Patricia says, not unless you twist and push, etc., will the lock open. Okay, that works quite well. Notice in the original it's in the present, so it would be better does the lock open, but will is certainly a good possibility. Aditi says, not unless you twist and push does the lock open. You don't need the only there, Aditi. So let me write the correct answer in here. Not unless you twist and push at the same time does the lock open. Okay? So not unless you twist and push at the same time does the lock open. So this is another one. Not unless. If okay, not unless if it begins our phrase, then you have an inversion in the second part of the phrase. Hadi, not unless you twist and push at the same time does the lock open. Good. Manny, not unless you twist and push at the same time does the lock open. Well done, Manny. Very good. Very good indeed. Okay, so notice here, does the lock open? This is our question form. This is our inversion. Here. I think they're exactly the same, Patricia. I think does the lock open is a zero conditional. Will the lock open is a first conditional. Yeah? So notice, these are complicated conditionals. You could use either of them, Patricia. They both sound perfectly good. I don't think one is prettier or more elegant than the other. Okay, so, and another one. Okay, so not unless takes an inversion in the second part of the phrase, in the second part of the sentence. Okay, so we've got another one coming up here. Not unless. Let's see, if you use not unless with a negative, it does make not unless you don't do this, it makes it really confusing, and I would strongly recommend not using not unless with negatives vibes, okay? Because it does my head in when I think about those. It does make a double negative, and that makes things impossibly complicated. We normally use simple tenses with unless. Yes, very definitely. Okay, so next one. You must never enter this room unaccompanied. circumstances. Under. Enter this room unaccompanied. Yeah. Okay, this one looks like it's going to be easy for you. Okay, so this phrase here. So let's see. Vitali says, under no circumstances must you enter. Artsy says, under no circumstances must you enter. Vibes, under no circumstances can you enter. I'm not so happy with can. Vibes. It's not wrong, but I prefer in this case must. I know you're using can for permission, and yes, it does work. It's not wrong. I think must probably sounds better because I'm wondering if this is permission or ability. Maria says, under no circumstances should you. That works very nicely as well. Okay, should you ever enter? AZ, under no circumstances should you. Under any circumstances, do not enter this room. You see, I would say under all circumstances, do not enter this room. Yeah, under all circumstances, do not enter this room. Under any circumstances, do not enter this room. You see, I think I'm probably going to accept that, Marianne. Manny says, under no circumstances, you must enter this room. So, Manny, under no circumstances, with an inversion. Under no circumstances. When it begins the sentence, it takes an inversion. Funda, under no circumstances, you must never enter this room. So you need an inversion in the second part, Funda, and the never needs to be changed to ever. Patricia, under no circumstances should you, must you enter this room, etc. That's good, P. I think both of these are better than Vibes is can, but can is also possible. Mwanga says, under no circumstances must you enter. Good. Hadi, under no circumstances would you be able. I think under no circumstances will you be able to enter the room, Hadi. Under any circumstances, under all circumstances, do not enter this room. For prohibition. On no account must you. Absolutely. Under no circumstances. On no account. On no account must you enter this room. Under any circumstances, you must not. Under any circumstances must you enter this room unaccompanied. No, Aditi. Under no circumstances must you. It needs to be a no. Okay. Saman. Under all circumstances, avoid entering this room. Are you, under no circumstances are you allowed to enter? That's good. Yes, double negatives are legit sometimes, very definitely. Yeah, it's generally it's better to avoid using them unless you want to stress the negativity of something. Should or must? I think they both sound the same. I think probably should sounds a little bit more formal. Funda says, under no circumstances, enter this room unaccompanied. That would work though. Under no circumstances, enter this room unaccompanied. Okay, so. Let's see. Let me give a stock answer. Under no circumstances should must you enter this room? Great to have you on, but we won't go down that rabbit hole now. It's a very complicated one, the double negatives. I'm not saying you mustn't use double negatives. Okay, there you go. There's an example for you, Vitali. Could it be, are you allowed to? Yeah, under no circumstances are you allowed to enter this room. Yes, it definitely could, Maria. Let's try one more of these then. Okay, this one's completely different. This is complicated, Funda. Yeah, these are what I would call hard conditionals. It's like when the maths teacher says, we're going to do some hard sums. Okay, so you'll also, Funda, another recommendation. When you're nervous about your English, the most important thing to try to do is relax. Is just take it easy, because your English will be much better if you can relax. Okay, the castle is now a hotel. This one is a phrasal verb. Okay, turned. Okay, so we've got a couple of answers here. So let's see. Maria says the castle has turned into a hotel. That sounds like magic. Kaboom! The castle was turned into a hotel by Vitali. Has turned now into a hotel by Valentine. Vibe says has been turned into. Pavla, the castle has been turned into. Julia, the castle has been turned into. Manny, the castle has turned into a hotel. If you say has turned into a hotel, this is like the magician. The ball suddenly turns into a rabbit. Kapow! Magic and suddenly. So we need to make it passive to say that an agent has done it. Okay, Saman, the castle now turned into a hotel. Not quite. Malak, has been turned into. Good, Malak. Is turned into. You need a present perfect because it happened in the past. Happened in the past and it's there now. Has been turned into, converted into. This is a phrasal verb. Yeah. There definitely is a live stream playlist. Yeah, there's an enormous one. So Spartan says the castle was turned into a hotel. That would do fine. Valentine has been turned into. Good. Rashid has now turned into. I guess with the now there, has now turned into a hotel. I think it's probably better with a passive. Spartan, the castle is turned into a hotel. Okay, it has been because it happened in the past. Turned into from Amin. Great to see you, Amin. Hi, Amin. AZ is turned into. The castle is turned into from Spartan as well. I'd prefer has been turned into because this is something in the past that is relevant now. Okay, Funda says the castle has turned into. Has been turned into. Mukul, hi, has to turn into. Here the has to is making it an obligation. Emin says turn to be. Hadi. The castle has turned into be a hotel. Present perfect passive, as Vitali put it. I like that a lot. Present perfect passive. Because the turning happened in the past, there was an agent so we need it passive. The castle has been turned into a hotel. Hi, son. Aditi, the castle has been turned into a hotel. The castle has been turned into a hotel for Funda. Now the castle has been turned into a hotel. That's good, Aditi. Okay, to turn out is how something ends. How did the match turn out? How did the meeting turn out? What was the end result of it? So, slightly different. Okay, so let's see. I went to the castle because I thought it was a castle. And much to my surprise, it was a hotel. The castle turned out to be a hotel. Abdullah, the castle has turned into a hotel now. Good. So, if this statement's in the active voice, if it's active, it's saying that the castle turned itself. But the castle didn't turn itself, Mukul. Somebody did it. We don't know who. But the castle, therefore, the passive. The castle has been turned into a hotel from Mukaboya. The castle is now a hotel. That would work, son, yeah? The castle is now a hotel. Yes, that works, definitely. The castle has been turned into a hotel. The voter turnout was low. Yes. Okay, turnout, the number of people are going to that. So we've had a good turnout of people today. We got 32 people here. Castle. Okay, in American I would say the castle. But I, in my British accent, a castle. It's an R sound. Is it arm or army? So this is the last one for today. The castle has been turned into a hotel. So thank you all for coming. Let's see. Next live on Sunday. I'm not sure what day that's going to be. On Sunday the 12th of June at 7 p.m. UK time. Yeah. Thank you, Valentine. I'll enjoy the rest of my day. Thank you for coming, Maria. It's a pleasure having you, Vitali. Thank you for coming, Julia. Thank you, Nerd Guy. Thank you, Hadi. Thank you, Mukul. Thank you, Mukuboya. Thank you, Abdul. Toodle Pip Vitali. Thank you, Aditi. Thank you, Funda. Thank you, AZ. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Emin. Thank you, Funda again. Thank you, Amin and Rashid and Valentine and Saman and Vibes, very definitely, and Julia Richmond. It's wonderful having you all. So thank you all for coming. So I'm going to stop the... I'm